Okay, so in any case, I think we should start with our meeting, which we had agreed to have. I hope the connection will be good for everyone, especially on Ukrainian side. Доброго дня, шановні друзі та колеги. My name is Gintaras Steponavičius. I am director of Cormac Consultancy Group for Central and Eastern Europe, and we are the organization from United Kingdom who are ready to further support education in Ukraine in the circumstances of brutal Russian aggression against Ukraine. We have been helping to establish more than 80 partnerships between British and Ukrainian universities. And I'm happy to say that today we are at the point of beginning a similar partnership, long-standing strategic partnership building between vet institutions on both sides in UK and Ukraine. And that is extraordinary that we are able to connect in such severe circumstances. Most of Ukraine is experiencing now, having not only the aggression, but also attacks on the energy infrastructure. And I hope this meeting will move forward without interruptions, at least for most of you. I hope that English language is okay for this meeting. We talked to the ministry and we said perhaps it would be good to have conversation not in Ukrainian but in English from the very beginning, in order to pave the way for a conversation allowing to build up partnerships with sufficient teams of the people on both sides ready to have conversations in English. If there are some things unclear from Ukrainian institution side, from Ukrainian professional training schools, you just stop us. Please say, talk slowly, don't move too fast. We'll try to follow, because I understand for myself, English is not native tongue, therefore we, each of us, have to adjust to each other. So once again, thank you everyone to joining this initiative, knowing a success story of twinning between universities. We know that we can succeed together in helping Ukrainian vet institutions, and working together with the Ministry of Education and also with the president's Ukrainian president team. We set up this event, which has a number of stakeholders on this meeting. The program for 1.5 event is very concise. I will just quickly mention that we'll have a few welcome words from ministry, from president's office, and your international partners. Then we will present also the model of twinning. We will hear few presentations from leading Ukrainian vet institutions. And based on that, we'll have conversation how to kick off this project, establishing bilateral, long-standing partnerships between Ukrainian and UK, and also, I may say, Canadian counterparts. So with this context, I suggest that we proceed forward. And I would ask Irina to say a few words on behalf of the ministry, if Irina is with us. I think she perhaps had to drop off, as was the case also with, I guess, Olga Budnik from the president's office. In any case, in this context, I hope they will be able to join, and I understand that this initial explanatory work from the ministry side was done talking to Ukrainian institutions. So that may be already sort of preparatory work behind this. And of course, I would now suggest that we move to Emma Meredith, who is representing Association of Colleges of United Kingdom, the association who is open and ready to step in from UK side towards this project development. Emma, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Ginteres, for the introduction. I'm joined on the call today by my colleague Athena Fisher. We represent the Association of Colleges. We're the national representative body for colleges in England, colleges of further and vocational education. It's a pleasure to join you today, and thank you very much for your interest in cooperation with the UK. Our role is to look at how we might be able to work with you to set up a twinning scheme between UK and Ukrainian vet colleges, and perhaps looking at how we work in partnership as well with colleagues from other countries. I know there are colleagues from Canada on the call. So I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion this lunchtime, and thank you again for inviting us to be part of this.
Thank you, Emma, for the words, for confirming your commitment to be engaged. Yes, in this context, I would like also to say that we have a number of our colleagues from Saskatchewan Polytechnic who are known already in Ukraine, working for a number of years with big projects, with a number of Ukrainian vet institutions and state institutions. We have also Gennady Rusanov, who works with EU projects related to vet sector reform in Ukraine. We are following the developments, even in the context of war, what are being done to strengthen the sector. And maybe I would ask, I don't know, from Saskatchewan side, be it Igor or Angela, ready to say a few words and just present quickly activities you are already being involved in Ukraine.
Recording in progress.
I can go. Мене звати Анжела Wojciechowska. My name is Angela Wojciechowski, Director of International Partnerships and Projects at Saskatchewan Polytechnic. It's nice to see many old friends and new friends on the call today. Saskatchewan Polytechnic's been working in the TVET sector since 2003. We've worked on various projects with the ministry and then with individual institutions looking at curriculum reform, policy reform, resource development, and we're really interested in re-engaging with schools in Ukraine currently. Maybe I'll pass it over to Ihor.
Будь ласка, Igor.
Thank you very much, colleague. Добрий вечір, українці. I have a pleasure to work with Saskatchewan Polytechnic in Ukraine for the last 15 years, and we worked with all the 25 scientific methodological centers for vocational education, with Institute of Vocational Education, with specific colleges on number of topics. We had 3 consecutive projects, and we were heavily involved into the setting the stage for the reform of vocational education, which is happening now, strengthening its methodological base, building relations with employers, updating competencies, and making vocational institutions more reacting on the employers' demands on the ground. So during those years, we had about 5 study tours to Canada of Ukrainian officials. We brought 5 study tours to Europe to show how the European model of vocational education works. We have organized about probably 100 events different in Ukraine, mainly in the regions, in the pilot regions where we were working. So we know quite well the state of the vocational sector in Ukraine, and we are happy to join UK training project as partners and continue our work with Ukrainian vocational institutions. Thank you very much.
Дуже дякую. Thanks, colleagues, especially taking into account what time it is now in Canada and how early birds you have been today. Thanks a lot for being able to join this. Yes, we still don't have colleagues from the ministry. Irina, as indicated, is not able to join yet us, but I think if it is okay, we would like to proceed now with the presenting how we see this project as a twinning initiative for that in Ukraine forward. And I'm happy to say that we have John Widowson, colleague from Cormac Consultancy Group, who is our associate, but has a long-standing experience in that sector in United Kingdom for decades, occupying leading positions within the sector, working closely with industry. So, John, good to have you with us, and I think we will have a short presentation how this twinning looks like and how it could work. The screen is yours, John.
Being very old, as Ginteras has said, I'm going to ask Angela to do the slide presentation for me. He was very polite, but that's what he meant, really, didn't he? Okay, well, thank you for giving us the time to talk about this process. The first slide really just gives some of the background. If we move to that, please. Maybe get the full slide up on the screen. But just to say that, I mean, Cormac Consultancy has been working in the region for a long time now, 23 years. There have been a number of strong relationships with Ukrainian universities, and as soon as the war began, we began to see the impact on those universities virtually from day one. So there was a lot of concern, obviously, but also a lot of interest in how UK universities could help to relieve some of that pressure, to make sure we could express support and solidarity with colleagues in Ukraine. So the concept of twinning came up, which was supported by Universities UK, which is the national body for universities in the whole of the UK, and the President's Office and the Minister for Education and Science in Ukraine. So quite a lot of high-level support. So far, it's been very successful in bringing over 80 Ukrainian universities into cooperation, not just with UK universities, but also with US and Canadian partners. We really feel this needs an international response. So that's what we're trying to put together. So particularly pleased to see Canadian colleagues attending this meeting. We then began to realize there was an equal need in the vet sector, probably a greater need in many respects, to help build up the skills that Ukraine's going to need now and in the future. Can we have the next slide then, please? So the idea of twinning is to actually make sure that we can express that support for Ukrainian vet institutions. We can help to support the integrity of institutions that we know under great pressure, and some physically not there anymore in the form in which they were before the war began. And so we feel there's something we can do there to talk about how we reconstruct those institutions. To help train people to work back in Ukraine. This is not a procedure or a process to help people to leave Ukraine. It's to provide Ukraine with the skills it needs in the future. And as an aside, we're also working through the Association of Colleges to identify Ukrainian nationals who are students in our colleges now, who've had to leave the country, but we're working with colleges to make sure that they get the education and skills that they need. And the final point is to actually help Ukraine to rebuild, to contribute to the quality of education in vet. We have many of the same issues in vet that I've discussed with colleagues in Ukraine, but also particularly to develop specialities which will be needed. We've already looked at issues in the construction industry, issues around health, all sorts of things that the country is going to need to rebuild, and that will be based on the skills of the people. Let's have the next slide, please. So how are we going to make this work? Well, what we want to do first of all is get an expression of interest from institutions that they are prepared to go forward with the twinning process. There is no there's no recipe for this. There's no laid down set of ideas. It's very much for partners to discuss and develop their own ideas. But we would ask that colleges, institutions give an indication of the specialities they feel are of most interest. We have a pilot program at the moment with a college in Kriviri, which is looking at hospitality catering, but also business management, finance and accounting, for example. What we then seek to do as a consultancy is to match those institutions together, as we did for the universities, trying to match institutions according to subject. We then put those institutions together in an introductory meeting, and one of those has already happened. I don't know the outcome, but it only happened, I think, at the end of last week. But we know there's going to be a lot of need to build understanding, capacity and knowledge on both sides. So we don't believe this can happen immediately, but it will require to be built up. And that will be done through these 6 weekly follow-up calls with notes, so we properly document what's happening. And I think we share experience across the whole range of partnerships. So not just between two, but across everybody. So we get the best practice that we can get. We also feel that from the university experience, a formal document, a memorandum of understanding, is really quite a useful thing, because it sets out what the two parties want to achieve, and it sets out what they're prepared to contribute. And that would include regular meetings, whether they're monthly or more often, will be up to the partners, because at that stage, we believe the partners themselves need to drive this forward, supported by their national bodies. Can we have the next slide, please? So what sort of things could be involved in this collaboration, these partnerships? Firstly, access to online resources. Like you, we've been working a lot more online, perhaps for different reasons during the COVID outbreak. So there's a lot of experience, and we have access to commercial companies producing materials. We also feel there's an ability to host summer schools for students, but also for teachers, and possibly internships as well. That may also have some implications for skills competitions and the world skills competitions. We feel there's something we can discuss around upskilling of teachers, managers and senior leaders. These are issues that we have, and we're very happy to share our experience and the progress that we've made. Joint capacity building projects, because one of the things that I think is going to be central to all this is just the changing technologies, the fact everything becomes digital going forward. And even in industries like construction, highly digitized, requiring different skills to maybe traditional skills in that industry. We'd also like to bring industrial partners in as we can. And there are companies that work within the UK, but also within Ukraine and Canada, where we feel they have an interest in developing the skill base of their employees. We also understand there's an interest in English language courses for both students and staff, and that's something obviously that both countries, the UK and Canada, can provide. And also looking at curriculum modernisation, curriculum development. Certainly in England, we've had a lot of experimentation, a lot of innovation in the VET curriculum recently, and it'd be very happy and very good to share that and get your view actually as professional colleagues about how you think that would work, and to give us an objective view of how you think it's working in England. That also moves on to quality assurance standards to make sure that what we deliver is the quality that employers require, and so they gain confidence in the system. We also think there's a lot of benefit in linking students, so students can talk to each other. That would help to develop language skills, but it would also give students in the UK another view, a view of a world and pressures on people of their age, which at the moment they only get from the media. So we feel that first-hand link and contact could be very valuable. And finally, fundraising, which is already underway in many institutions for the already existing organisations supporting Ukraine, but we think we could do something around supporting development in VET as well. Can we have the next slide, which is simply a contact slide? There are many more ideas than that, by the way. These are just ideas that we at CCG have come up with. I'm sure there are very many much cleverer people out there who can come up with much better ideas. So we really, really want those ideas to come forward. Can we get the final slide? No, obviously not. Those are just contact details, which we can actually provide as we go forward. So that's a very short presentation. As I say, it's very much up to institutions, to partners, to work out what they actually want to do, what they want to achieve. Not every partnership will deal with all of those points on that slide, and there will be many others that will occur as we work together going forward. Thank you, Kinteris.
Yes, thank you, John. Indeed, this is just a rough presentation of how this twinning partnerships could be established and developed. I believe before proceeding forward, using this opportunity for Ukrainian colleagues, maybe you would like to ask something to clarify, which is not clear for you. We are happy here to share this experience of more than half year working with between universities from Ukraine and UK, also from few other countries, but we believe that there is potential on the Ukraine side for the vet to engage, but any unclear things have to be responded, not leaving them aside. So please, anyone? Okay. I believe that then we could move forward. And I know that Irina Shumik was talking to some of your institutions, asking to prepare short presentations of your profiles for giving a bit of the feeling about your settings and then activities for us outside of Ukraine. I don't know who would be the ones ready to move forward. All right. Anyone?
Do colleagues in institutions think this is a good idea? Do they think there are benefits from this for them, but also, you know, benefits on both sides?
Okay, so from Ukrainian vet institution side, would there be anyone willing to present themselves as an institution? Okay, taking into account that we have some time, maybe I would just ask introduce themselves and the institution very shortly in few words who are on this call. Maybe I would ask, even if you're not prepared, just say a few words about yourself, who you are, what field you are specializing in. Who would be the first ones ready to start? Alexander Strelets. Is Alexander Strelets with us?
Yes, maybe we are ready. We are not sure. It's rather scary a little to be the first, but we'll try.
Absolutely. You greeted us on the chat, so I thought, why shouldn't you start?
We were the first who greeted you at the chat. That's why maybe we'll be the first who will present our educational establishment. So we are from Dnipro. Alexander Strelets is the director of the Dnipro Center of Vocational and Technical Education, and I am the person who is responsible for this project in our educational establishment, and my name is Darina. Now I would like to give a presentation of our educational establishment, and now I will switch on the presentation. Wait a minute.
So finally, we have a breakthrough with presentations. Okay.
Now you can see the beginning of our presentation. It's our director and our three campus from our educational establishment. And now I would like to tell you a little about our departments and about the branches of industry with which we are involved. So we have three separate departments, departments of mechanical engineering, department of communication, and department of motor transport and building. And we have a lot of specialities, for example, electric and gas welder, machine tool operator, wide profile tuner, locksmith. We have the motor vehicle driver, we have the instructors for individual driving training, we have the controller, cashier and accountant, and postal operator. So the range of specialities which we provide to Ukrainian teenagers are rather wide. And for this, we have 3 students hostel, and as I say, we have three separate departments, 3 student hostel. We have 39 classrooms, 9 laboratories, 14 workshops, a modern sports center, and a relevant administrative, technical, and household building. And maybe because of it, we have a rather big contingent in our educational establishment. For example, our total quantity this year is 1,250 people. It's rather high quality for the other vocational centers in Dnipro. Primary professional training, our average annual contingent is about 650 educational seekers. And for a training, we usually have about 250 trainers. For certification training, our average annual contingent is 150 trainers. And our partial qualification average annual contingent is about 200 trainees. So as you see, a lot of people, not only teenagers, but people, adult people are involved in our educational establishment. There you can see some photos of our classrooms, maybe laboratories, student hostel, our sports center, which is very popular not only among our students but among the people who are living nearby, and they take part in our sport competition and they usually go in for sport here too. Next, it's our workshops. For example, we have education and practical center for renewable energy. It's the first in Ukraine center, which was opened last year. And now we have opportunity to give them education for this qualification too. We also have the educational and practical center for electric installation work, and we have the educational and the practical center of locksmith. Also, we have the laboratory of tuners, we have the classroom for the postal workers and other. And our educational establishment, since 2019, we have been the participant of all Ukrainian experiment on the topic of the organization of professional training of future skilled workers according to the dual form of education in a tuner profession. So we work together with the industry and enterprises of Dnipropetrovsk region, and the students of our educational establishment have lessons inside our classrooms only several months, and most part of the education they have in the enterprises and factories, maybe plants, if in the Dnipropetrovsk region. We also take part in a lot of projects, not only Ukrainian, all Ukrainian, but in international project too. And we have some achievement in this field, and not only in the project, but achievements in different competitions. For example, we are the multiple winners of the international exhibition Modern Educational Institution and Innovation in Modern Education. We are multiple winners in public project contest participation budget of Dnipro. We are an active participant in the implementation of international project related to work with internally displaced persons. In 2014, our institution entered the list of the 100 most popular vocational and technical institutions of Ukraine. For this, we were very glad, of course, because it's a very scientific reward for us. In 2016, we became the laureate of Grand Prix Leader of Vocational and Technical Education of Ukraine. In 2018, our representatives became winners of the competition Best Practices of Youth Work in Ukraine. So as you see, we develop not only skilled workers, but we develop youth with the all skills, communication skills, which can be needed for a modern qualified worker. In 2020, we became the leader of innovations in Ukrainian education. And now, according to the law of Ukraine, dated of July 29 in 2022, signed by the President of Ukraine, our institution was included in the list of vocational and technical educational institutions of Ukraine, in which will be provided the creation of Center Professional Excellence. And in this case, maybe your help, the help of your organization will be very useful for us in the modernization of curriculum according to the European standards. Maybe that's all for now. You can watch. Thank you for your attention. And
yes,
about us in short, if to say in short.
Thank you very much for your readiness to break the ice from Ukrainian vet side. I think it would be also relevant for you to say a few words, and also for the other Ukrainian colleagues in this context of conversation. What are your needs and what is the situation in terms of the damages or other war-related challenges? Would be what type of support you would need. You mentioned development of modern curricula at the very end is one, but yes, that's the challenge for any institution in normal circumstances. What would be the sort of war context related needs?
We would like in nowadays situation when there are a lot of opportunities connected with the European countries, we would like, of course, to enter some extra English courses, and fluent English will be very useful for not only for our staff but for our students. We'd like to understand how you live in your country, and I think that this experience will be very useful for our teenagers, and maybe they will open some opportunities for themselves, and they will not be so depressed in our situation nowadays because of the Russian aggression, and maybe it will be a little change their mind, and I think it will be useful for them and will help to do it, of course. And among our students, there are a lot of displaced persons who need the help and maybe psychological support. Of course, we have psychologists in our educational establishment and social worker, but maybe you have some new programs or some recommendation how to deal with this and how to cope all these problems with the displaced persons.
Okay, thank you. That's great comment. Especially I liked the one you said, fluent English. So the plank is high from the very beginning. Excellent to hear that. So colleagues, I see Vinica is ready to speak, but just before doing so, we have Jonathan Ledger from UK DIT office joining us. Jonathan, good to have you with us. Would you like to say a few words from your side?
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. It's great to see so many of our Ukrainian friends online today. Apologies for my lateness. I had an overrunning meeting and then technology issues wouldn't let me connect. Look, the long and short of it is that there are a number of UK colleges and UK training providers, public and private, that would like to connect with Ukraine vocational institutions. And I guess one of the things I've been looking at is, you know, a mechanism by which we do that. And I know we have the fantastic Emma Meredith from the Association of Colleges Online today. And I think one of the things that we could probably do well is to help with developing a specification for each of the different Ukrainian partners that would like to pair up with somebody in the UK. And then my suggestion would be that we put this out to the network, and then we see who comes forward, and we do some introductions from college to college and provider to provider. So I think there's a lot we can do here. There's definitely an appetite to be supporting Ukraine in the current circumstance, but of course, you know, when the time comes in its rebuild, and you know, we will support you in every way possible that we can. It is really good. I caught the last presentation. There's obviously lots of activity going on in the vocational space, which is fantastic. I don't know if Emma or anyone else has told you, but I am a big fan of vocational training. I don't really do higher education. I'm really just purely vocational education. So for me, what you do is brilliance, and particularly in such difficult circumstances. And I really commend your efforts and joining us today. So I look forward to just listening to see what you're saying about your institutions, but I'm definitely here to help in any way that I can to connect you all with UK colleges and training providers, working in partnership with Emma Meredith at the Association of Colleges. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan, a lot for joining us, for the words and the words of solidarity. Yes, I was already seeing Vinica being a little bit impatient and ready to put slides on the screen. Please proceed. Будь ласка.
Вітаю, шановні колеги. Good afternoon to the colleagues. My name is Valery Diakiv. I am the director of the State Educational Institution, Vocational and Technical Center #1 in the city of Vinica. My colleague Victoria Korotnyuk will present our institution. Please.
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm glad to see you. And we'll start. 2 minutes.
A moment.
Well, State Educational Institution, Vinica Vocational Educational Center #1 is an institution of the third attestation level, which trains highly skilled workers from technologically complex, science-intensive professions and specialties. Profile of the educational institution by branch: mechanical engineering, light industry, household and restaurant, receives construction and public utilities. The mission of the center is the training of highly qualified workers, the effective implementation of innovative education, and assistance to everyone in comprehensive development and leadership development to meet the needs of the individual, society, and the state. Our educational establishment prepares qualified workers of primary training and vocational education, adult education in the following professions: machine tool of the wide profile, locksmith repairman, locksmith repairing, wheel to vehicle, cook, confectioner, plaster, tailor, painter. Sorry, the next slide, not my previous professions. Yes, and electrician for repair and maintenance of electrical equipment, jeweler fitter, jeweler fixer. And financing of personnel training is carried out from several sources: local and state budgets, private individuals and enterprises. The use of grants and charitable assistance is also involved. Our vocational and technical education has always performed an important function of social protection of such groups of youth as orphans, children left without parental care, persons with special educational needs. Great attention is paid in the institution to the implementation of an inclusive model of education. All profession prepared by our center are equally available for both men and women. Well, the next pupils of the center are participants in many competitions of various levels. This year, pupil Beneda Arseni and Metro Danilo Melnik became the winner of the second stage of the All-Ukrainian Contest of Professional Skills in the profession locksmith for the repair of wheeled vehicle and turner. In 2021, students Zhuk Valentin won the 6th prize of the first stage of the All-Ukrainian Competition of Professional Skills among students of professional, vocational, and technical educational institution in the profession-wide profile machine tool. In 2020, Vadim Golchevsky took the second place at the All-Ukrainian Competition of Professional Skills, World Skills Ukraine. The institution constantly participates in regional, all-Ukrainian, and international competitions of professional skills. And we have numerous awards, certificates, and things. The state educational institution number 1, our center, has a good experience of participating in grant programs and projects, such as Erasmus Plus projects. The Erasmus Youth Exchange project is the smart educational fund from the Polish city of Opole. And the next project is the EU for Youth project, helps to develop the social potential of youth people in Moldova and Ukraine. In the 2018, the next slide. In 2018, with the support of the Ministry of Education and Culture of Ukraine, a training and practical center for the training of skilled workers in the professions-wide profile machinist and turner was established on the basis of our center. The educational process at the center is conducted in 2 buildings for 800 students. The center has a dormitory for 460 people, an assembly hall, a conference hall for 110 people, a library, a reading hall with a book count of more than 28,000 copies, a canteen for 240 people, 12 educational and production workshops, 24 classrooms, including 10 classrooms for special disciplines, 3 laboratories, 2 sports halls, gym, and even a shooting range. The educational institution has all the possibilities for studying and educating students. The next. So we have a lot of social partners. We have more than 30 active social partners, such as Plant Mayak, this is Vinnytsia Fund, State Enterprises, 45, the next slide. Remtech Silmarsh, Winprom Service, Elna Service, Astok, Vinnytsia Cluster of Refrigeration Equipment, Green Crew, and many others. So, the next slide is connected to the war, the pre-6 Shosti. Well, I want to say that since the beginning of martial law, the educational institution has another rather powerful experience, the experience of working with internally displaced person. A shelter was created on the basis of standard temporary accommodation of people living in dangerous areas where hostilities were taking place. During the period, we sheltered more than 18,000 people in transit, and currently 155 people, including 50 children, live temporarily in the institution's dormitory. A practical psychologist and a social worker worked with them because they went through explosions, death of relatives, to unfamiliar places, which has a very negative effect on their mental health. And then to the state educational institution is the only educational institution of the mental working profile in the region, in our region. And the profession of general machine tool and locksmith repair are included in the list of professions of state importance. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, colleagues from Vinnytsia. That's really helpful, and we'll be coming back to the issues of the kind of support through the partnership with UK and Canadian institutions. You might be interested, first of all, to be receiving. But now I would ask who else from Ukrainian institution side would be ready to do your presentation?
Давай, включай.
Okay, someone is encouraging.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon, dear friends. I am the director of the construction lyceum. Our lyceum is very old but very creative. Next year we will celebrate our 60th anniversary. We teach such professions as carpenters, plasters, painters, plumbers, welders, and designers with construction profession and the new profession plasterers. We also have two education and practical centers. We try to do our best and know our presentation about our lyceum. Just a moment.
I think you are sharing the screen, colleagues from Ivano-Frankivsk, but it's not the slides. You just need to step on the right window where the slides sit and then try to share it.
Треба вибрати той екран, на якому слайди. Потім клікнути.
Here.
Треба натиснути Stop sharing. Треба натиснути зараз Stop sharing. Stop. Ні, зверху червона кнопочка Stop. Треба вернутися назад. А тепер по-новому це зробити.
Окей.
Okay, looks like the right slides. Please.
Hello, nice to meet you. Ivano-Frankivsk welcomes you. Ivano-Frankivsk Professional Construction Lyceum is a single educational institution in our beautiful city that trains constructional workers. We have graduated many generations of graduates. And next year, our lyceum will be 60 years old. Currently, 326 pupils are studying at the lyceum. Among them, there are also girls. Now we want to introduce you our profession. Construction carpenter. Next, plaster painter with the skills of drywall installation. Bricklayer, electric welder of manual welding. Plaster tiler. Installer of expositions and artistic design works. Installer of plasterboard structures. Installer of sanitary technical systems and equipment, electro-gas welder, plumbers. We are proud of 2-hour education and practical centers. One of them is Educational and Practical Center for installation of sanitary technical systems and equipment that graduated more than 100 modern professionals. And the next one, Educational and Practical Center of Installers of Plasterboard Structures. We have been participating in the project for 2 years that called Professional Training on Energy Efficiency in Ukraine, under the management of the company GIS. Thank you for your attention and hope it was interesting information for you.
Thank you, colleagues from Ivano-Frankivsk. Дуже дякую. I think it gives understanding of the scope of your activities. Okay, do we have other Ukrainian vet institutions ready to contribute?
We are ready.
Excellent. Please proceed.
Okay.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Nice to see all of you. Let me introduce our educational institution in Podilsky Center Professional Technical Education in Kamenets-Podilsky city. I am a director, Mikhail Pushchak.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Kamenets-Podilsky city welcomes you, Khmelnytskyi region. We're happy to participate in today's meeting despite such a terrible situation in our country. Today we would like to present, I'm sorry, I forgot to. Today we would like to present to your attention the activities of the educational institution Podilsky Center of Vocational Education. The center was created by optimizing the chain of institutions of vocational education in Kamenets-Podilsky, joining of 4 educational institutions in 2015. The main advantage of the center is that it is only educational institution that provides professional training for the youth, the unemployed population in the main branches of the Khmelnytskyi region's economy. The average annual contingent of the center is about 800 people. The center trains future qualified workers from 34 integrated professions, which are 76% of which are technologically complicated. Kamenets-Podilsky labor market is characterized by a constant demand for qualified workers such as plumber, electric and gas welders, painters, bricklayers, plasters, electricians, millers, mechanics, carpenters. There is still a demand for sellers, cooks, hairdressers, tailors, travel agents, and administrators too. According to the government plan of priority action regarding the implementations of the pilot project on the modernizations of training of workers in specific profession, it became possible to open educational and practical center. As a result, an educational and practical center for the profession plumber was opened in 2017, where training of qualified workers for this profession is carried out through advanced training, post-training, and retraining. Also, our center has developed a regional development project, creation of student hotel tourist center, on the basis of our educational institution, which is being implemented at the expense of state budget funds, which was received from the European Union. This project will give us opportunity to conduct professional training and practice for students of the hotel, tourism, food branches and service sectors, as well as to receive additional funds for the institution's special funds. The center will cooperate with a wide range of social partners, such as employers and state employment service, schools, higher educational institutions. The main customers of highly qualified workers are city enterprises from the main branches of Khmelnytsky region economy, such as industry and mechanic engineering, construction, road transport, light industry, branch of services, hotel and restaurant service. Our students are winners of different international and all-Ukrainian competitions, such as all-Ukrainian competitions of professional skills in various professions: tailor, hairdresser, painter, plumber. Also, we are winners of World Skills Ukraine in profession tailor and hairdresser. The center is the winner of the prestigious educational competitions such as 11th International Exhibition Innovation in Modern Education, second degree diploma, golden medal, All Ukrainian Award Innovation in Education, second degree diploma, Pedagogical Olympus of Ukraine project. The center became a leader of education in Ukraine. Mikhail Rushak, the head of the center, is awarded with an honorary certificate as well as a national recognition of honorary teacher of Ukraine. And finally, we can say that Podilsky Center for Vocational Education is an attractive and highly professional modern educational institution where it is comfortable to study and work, and it is a place for creation of future highly qualified specialists in modern labor market. Thank you very much.
Дякую. Thank you a lot. Having already 4 presentations from Ukrainian vet institutions, I would ask, are there any other ready to do? And I would like to ask, yes, thank you for stopping sharing. Anyone else from Ukrainian side?
We ready.
Excellent, please. Go ahead.
Kolki, congratulations from Volyn region. Kolki. Kolki Center of Vocational Education is an educational institution which is created by association of 2 vocational schools that are studied not far from each other, Kolki Manevich. And now 691 pupils are studying here. They are taught by 91 teachers who train new teaching methods. We train specialists in such branches as industry, agriculture, transport, trade, and catering, building. International cooperation is of great importance for us. We have partners in Estonia, Olustvara School of Service and Rural Economy, Lithuania, Klaipėda State College, Poland, Lyceum named after Stanislav Pashica, Austria, Wine and Fruit Growing School, Krems. Our vocational center uses the advanced forms of education. Regional Training and Practical Center of the Kolki Center of Vocational Education for practical training, retraining, and advanced training of specialists for the agriculture industrial complex, professional career center. They help in employment for our pupils. And now we wait for opening of the Center of Professional Excellence. European Union supports such projects, and we are in a list of 9 vocational schools. What to add? We are optimistic, enthusiastic, creative, and ready to work in any project. But now the main task for Ukraine is to win to war. Glory to Ukraine. That's all. Thank you.
Героям слава. Thank you for excellent presentation as well, as being very focused on international aspects of your engagement. Thank you, Volyn region. And do we still have someone else on Ukraine side? Okay, if it is not the case, I think I was seeing Irina Shumik joining us, but I'm afraid we don't have Irina with us again. Kiev looks like being one of the most affected areas in terms of electricity and other supplies. And of course, you need to be patient and strong. Colleagues, thank you very much for Ukrainian colleagues. Last time, maybe I would just ask, are there any other Ukrainians who would like to say something on your behalf? Just say a few words about yourself.
Я думаю, що від Києва, доброго дня всім, включилася Алла Гончаренко, директор Державного навчального закладу Центр професійної освіти, інформаційних технологій, поліграфії та дизайну міста Києва. Тому ми сьогодні завершимо столичним навчальним закладом з нашою презентацією.
Будь ласка, просіть. Igor, maybe you can advise in Ukrainian. Oh, I see it's...
Згідно розпорядження Київської міської адміністрації жовтня 2021 року, наші професійно-технічні навчальні заклади стали професійними коледжами, перше в державі Україна. Тому я вас сьогодні, як директор закладу, вітаю від імені Київського професійного коледжу інформаційних технологій, поліграфії і було дизайну. Залишиться технології поліграфії. Чому? Тому що зараз йде стадія реорганізації, і з 1 січня 2023 року ми вже станемо професійними коледжами. Повністю завершуємо процес реорганізації. Столиця нашої держави. Професійна освіта – це навчання для життя, навчання, яке доступне для всіх, в першу чергу. Якщо говорити коротко про нас, на сайті навчального закладу є вся інформація. Коледж є один із найстаріших, але одночасно найсучасніших, тому що його шлях від школи друкарської майстерності в 1903 році і в 15-му році об'єднано з швейним навчальним закладом. Це швейна справа, яка була створена, навчальний заклад створений в 1944 році. Ми прийшли в 2015 році до європейської моделі багатопрофільного центру. На сьогоднішній день в нашому закладі, в коледжі навчається 740 студентів. В закладі працює 110 працівників, у тому числі 75 педагогічних, викладачів та майстрів виробничого навчання. Проблеми, які стоять сьогодні перед нами в освітньому процесі, в основу всього – це орієнтація на нашого студента. В зв'язку з цим ми намагаємося все зробити для того, щоб було змішане навчання, формувальне оцінювання і впровадження цифрового контенту. Це розробка онлайн-курсів, використання онлайн-платформ і навчальних ресурсів. Тому пріоритетними завданнями розвитку нашого закладу є в першу чергу це сьогодні розбудова внутрішньої системи якості освіти. Це оновлення освітнього середовища, тому що Київська міська адміністрація на сьогоднішній день вкладає великі кошти в реалізацію розвитку наших закладів і в виконання регіонального замовлення. Важливим і ключовим являється це формування професійних компетентностей і педагогічних працівників, і здобувачів освіти. Сьогодні надто важливим є психологічний супровід освітнього процесу в мирних умовах і в військовий час. Ми сьогодні говоримо про новий зміст навчання і участь у міжнародних проєктах та в інших освітніх. І важливо сьогодні правильне прийняття управлінських рішень. Тому методична тема, над якою ми працюємо, це дистанційне, змішане навчання, як сукупність інноваційних освітніх технологій, що забезпечують доступ до інформації за допомогою ІКТ. Нашими напрямами підготовки є інформаційні технології, професії, швейного профілю, поліграфічного спрямування та перукарського мистецтва. Ми навчаємо за 10 професіями, здійснюємо первинну професійну підготовку, надаємо також повну загальну середню освіту. Наші здобувачі можуть продовжити навчання на фаховому молодшому бакалаврі за напрямами, за спеціальностями видавництво та поліграфія, друкарське виробництво та комп'ютерна обробка текстової, графічної і образної інформації. Я можу сказати, що сьогодні в Україні залишилося тільки 5 навчальних закладів поліграфічного спрямування та за спеціальністю дизайн, перукарське мистецтво та декоративна косметика. Оновлення освітнього середовища, впровадження інноваційних технологій навчання на першому місці в розвитку кожного закладу. Тому в 2020 році ми відкрили навчально-практичний центр оперативної поліграфії, новітнє середовище, новітнє обладнання, іде зонування як поліграфічне підприємство, це зона отримання замовлень, виробнича зона з додрукарськими, післядрукарськими процесами та навчальна зона, де наші студенти зможуть отримати навички з роботи з друкарським обладнанням, це 3D-друк, друк на чашках, друк на одязі, він називається сублімаційний, оперативний друк різноманітної продукції, книги, фраєра, листівки, плакати. Учні можуть опанувати роботу в графічних програмах, це роботу графічних дизайнерів, використовують програми верстки для розробки макетів, сторінок для газет, книг, брошур, інших матеріалів, які друкуються або які можна опублікувати в інтернеті для навчання та для клієнтів. Тому таке новітнє середовище є сьогодні надто актуальним, і у нас в Україні багато таких центрів на сьогодні створено, де діти можуть отримати якісну професійну освіту. Сьогодні не можна говорити про наше патріотичне виховання і про волонтерську діяльність, тому що це головне сьогодні, одне із головних направлень в нашій роботі. Навчальний заклад все робить, що може допомогти нашій державі, допомогти Збройним силам. Ми сьогодні і шиємо форму, виготовляємо обладнання, прапора, здійснюємо пожертвування, психологічна підтримка, підтримка біженців і багато-багато чого іншого.
Не треба вже так було детально.
Тому саме головне сьогодні для нас, для українців, це віра в нашу перемогу, віра в наші Збройні сили, і все буде Україна. Оце наш заклад, оце наші діти, оце наш прапор, наша держава, і ми віримо, що все буде добре, і перемога буде за нами. Все буде Україна. Слава Україні!
Героям слава. Дякую. Colleagues, since the presentation slides were also in English, so we could understand the message Alla was trying to convey to us about Kiev institution, and thank you for this. So we have 6 presentations done. They are of a wide range, both geographically speaking, but also different specializations and fields of activities, and that is, I think, a good starting basis for us on UK and Canada side to see at the ways how we can be involved and look for the partners who would be a good match for you. So I think what we will do from our side, from Korma Consultancy side, we will provide each of Ukrainian vet institution a form to be filled to identify not only the things you did in the presentations, but also about your needs. Speaking in particular, what are the short-term needs in the context of Russian invasion, to sustain your activities, to continue the process of teaching and develop your institutions, and then longer term objectives and needs, and based on that information which will be in the forms, we will be able to look for the matching partners together with the Association of Colleges of UK, together with our Canadian partners. I know Saskatchewan Polytechnic has already expressed their initial thoughts, so we will discuss among ourselves and continue this response to come back to you as soon as possible. So colleagues from Ukraine, would you like to ask some more questions about this project, about this twinning project for you? Are things not clear, not being answered by us during the John's presentation? Please use this opportunity. We are here to respond, to explain everything as clear as possible. Yes, we will be asking these presentations of the 6 institutions. I think the best way maybe to get them by the ministry, but also John will be sending this presentation with a link to the form you did for all Ukrainian institutions. So the idea is that we will start with the 6 institutions, but we know that a list is wider. Kryvyi Rih was mentioned, and the ministry has a list of about 20 vet institutions who would be ready and most open to such partnership. So that's, I think, the main message I wanted to convey. My colleagues who are present on this conversation, and again, I know sometimes I'm in Lithuania now, and I'm Lithuanian. So in Lithuania we have a saying: sometimes if you will not ask for 3 times, people will not respond. So I may ask, do you have any other questions to us about this further conversation and project?
Can I just ask a question? I know the colleagues from the ministry weren't able to join, but it'd be nice to know what the Ukrainian priorities from the ministry level are for the vocational education sector. I saw many of the schools mentioned continuing education, retraining. What kind of mechanisms is the ministry looking to implement and improve in the Ukrainian system? I think that helps the international colleagues to kind of know what we could assist the schools with when we know the overarching priorities of the sector. And I know the colleagues weren't able to participate today, but if we could get a list of those priorities, that would be really great.
Yes, thank you, Angela. I think that's very relevant. There is a permanent format for international partners, which Ministry of Education of Ukraine has created. And I think there are regular meetings, and we are attending. I think, John, you were joining last Friday, and we do have some kind of understanding about the priorities, but I believe we would need to get back to the ministry how to merge these priorities within this twinning initiative. John, maybe you would like to add something here? You're muted.
People often prefer it that way. Yeah, there was a very interesting conversation last week. I mean, clearly the ministry are very committed to make this work. There are all sorts of issues, many issues around how we fund it, how we get the funding to the right place. But the first thing is to establish a list of priorities now and those priorities going forward, so that we can actually both help with the current situation where possible and also plan for the future. I think the ministry are very keen, very enthusiastic to plan for the future as well as deal with the immediate. I think they see an opportunity to address a number of the problems that we have as well as the problems that exist in Ukraine. They are the same problems, really. So working together, I think, gives us the opportunity to get some good solutions in place. And I think it's good to start with a small number of institutions. Can I just say, I thought the presentations were excellent, very, very good. They gave a clear view of the institutions and what they can offer. A lot of what was offered there is very familiar to me after many years in the vet sector in England. So I'm sure that we can actually find those links and find some very profitable ways to go forward.
Thanks, John. Jonathan, I see you are already on mute.
Yes, thank you so much indeed. Excellent presentations. Really enjoyed them, actually, and lots of diversity. Just to concur with John, actually, we do need a top-level view from the Ministry of the priorities going forward, just so that we can ensure a strategic alignment with the UK colleges. And we have an ongoing conversation here in the UK about the funded support and things like that. We need to secure that and get that process in place as well, so that we can bring on UK colleges into this twinning opportunity that exists. So still lots of work to be done, but I guess, yeah, it really needs to come back to those strategic priorities at a country or regional level in Ukraine, and we need to know what that is first.
Very much so. Thanks, Jonathan. Emma, on Colleges Association side?
Well, I'd echo the points made by Jonathan and John in relation to the next steps and the priorities, but I want to thank all the colleagues from Ukraine on the call for presenting your institutions and what you're doing. That's been incredibly helpful to see what kind of curriculum areas are your specialisms. I was also really interested in some of the skills competition activity that you've undertaken as well. So that gives us a very good idea of what the curriculum is and how we could align it to UK colleges and with our partners in Canada as well. So thank you very much for joining the call to present that to us. It's much appreciated.
Very good. Thank you. And I think even in such circumstances, difficult circumstances for Ukrainians, it's so good to have you being able to concentrate on your work, to do what you can do. Even you are smiling sometimes. That's really extraordinary. Stay strong, and we'll be coming back to you. We'll get the priorities in place to bridge it with our efforts, and we will help your institutions to become more sustained, stronger, self-confident. And at this time, I think we have to end up our conversation. Дуже дякую, друзі. Все буде Україна до перемоги. Thanks a lot.
Слава Україні.
Героям слава.
До побачення.
Thank you all very much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Дякуємо. Thank you.